Okay, so today in class, you're going to work on some more drawing on some stuff. So I'm going to show you a chemical reaction. I'm going to show you the formula up here on the board. We're going to watch it, okay? And then I'm going to have you draw it on butcher paper. There are colored pencils up at the front of the room that you can use. All right, I want these to look nice, make them accurate. It might be hard, but you really think, I'm going to show you what's going on. I'm going to show you what the 3 things I want you to draw, show the reaction. And as you need it, just keep thinking back to that. Hey, what did I actually see happen? The action we're going to do is potassium iodide plus lead nitrate is going to go to potassium nitrate and lead chloride. Okay, so let's watch this reaction here. So here's the reaction. So here's some potassium iodide that I put on there and some lead nitrate. They're both white chemical substances. Let me see if I can get that to focus for you guys. Anyways, there's white chemical substances, okay? So they're 2 solids right now. So think about what that would look like, you know, ionically. It'd be as I'm mixing together, it doesn't really look like anything's changing. I've just got some white substances still. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different here. I'm gonna take this, another watch class here. I'm actually gonna crush them, kind of grind it up here. Let's see if this starts to do anything. I'm going to put down the phone for a second. When I put them together, okay, when I crushed them, but really not that good, right? So we got a little bit of a hint of a yellow color here, but nothing too big. So let's see if we can't get them to react a little bit better. So we're going to dissolve them in water. We'll see if they dissolve in water, and then we'll try that reaction like that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I've got a Petri dish right here. Okay, Petri dish with water in it. So I'm going to put the chemicals on one on each side, and then we're going to kind of see what happens here. So I've got some sodium iodide here. So I'm going to put that on this right side right here. Okay, and then clean up my scooper here. I'm going to get some lead nitrate. I'm going to put that on this left side here. All right, so now let's just watch and see what happens here. I'll probably end up speeding up this part of the video, but go ahead and watch. We'll see if we get any reaction. Okay, so one thing we can notice here is you see how there's none of that chemical left in there, so it is completely soluble and dissolved. And if we look at this side, you can't really tell it that well, but it is actually less, so that chemical also dissolved there. So we still have no reaction in here in the water, but we're just going to wait and we'll take a check, or we'll check back on this here in a second. Okay, and here it's starting to happen here. Okay, so we're starting to see a yellow line there form. So let's just watch this and see what happens here. Okay, so what we saw there, we saw a chemical reaction, right? So if we look, see that yellow, okay, that yellow line that was obviously not there, okay? Both the chemicals we added were white powders, okay? And I did not move them, okay? So that tells me that both of these things dissolved because then the ions became mobile and they're able to go meet in the middle there. Okay, so here's what I want you to do with the rest of this class. Okay, so there's butcher paper up at the front. I want you to cut a piece of butcher paper off. We've got colored pencils up there. You can work in partners, right? I want you to draw. I want you to draw the process of both chemicals dissolving. Okay, so both chemicals, I'm talking about my potassium iodide and my lead nitrate. Okay, then what happens when those 2 things mixed? And then finally, what was the end result? What is this this yellow compound that we got going on right here? How was that made? Okay, now, one thing to help you, since you don't know your solubility rules yet. First off, we know that these compounds were aqueous. This is AQ. This is aqueous as well. How do I know that? Well, when I put them in that petri dish full with water, they dissolved. Those white particles weren't there anymore. Okay? And also, if we notice where they met, see how they met in the middle here? Well, I didn't put them in the middle. So that means that, and look over here. See how there's no more white chemical here on this side either? That lead nitrate dissolved, so did that potassium iodide. Okay, so those two things are soluble. KNO3 is also soluble. How do I know that? Anytime nitrate is in a compound, that will always dissolve in water. Well, one thing we also know is we made a solid. That is not soluble. See how that's a solid? It is not dissolved in water. It's sitting right there. So one of these is a solid on this side of my reaction. And since this is aqueous, we know this must be a solid. So here is a solid. Okay? So what I want you to draw. What happened when it dissolved, when I put those two little chunks in the water? What's going on when they're mixing, and what's the end result look like in that solution? Okay? The only time you need to include NO2 is in the dissolving process. Okay? How did water break apart my two starting chemicals? All the rest of it, let's go ahead and just assume that there is water in there. So draw what the compound, or what the ions would look like, but not surrounded by the water. Okay, are they together in a crystal solid? Are the cations, ions right next to each other? Or are they going to be spread apart with a bunch of water molecules in between them? You just don't have to draw the actual water molecules. All right, best of luck. If you can't figure it out, use the Google. Okay, use some resources. Don't just sit there all hour and think, you know what, I don't know what to do. Use your classmates, all that kind of stuff. We will probably finish these up if you didn't get them finished today in class on Friday, or at least look at them and see how you guys did, and if you have know what's going on. So that's what we got for today. Hope you guys have a good day. See you guys later.